So this is it. This is what it's all about. Something that I didn't want to own, something that I didn't particularly want to buy, weren't on the lookout for a bike, and it kind of found me. Welcome to the channel, everyone. This channel is going to be me going on about bikes, upgrades, where I go on it, talking about vintage cycles and the stuff I've learned and my fascination with it, and why this bike I think is one of the best bikes I've ever seen or owned or anything like that. But first of all, let's talk about why I bought it and how I bought it. I went to a local tidy tip in the UK. It's where you throw your stuff away and you literally get your stuff from your shed and you put it in the various different containers it goes to get crushed up. But sometimes the men, if they think it's too good for crushing, will say, no, don't crush that, we'll put that in the shop. And they've got a little charity shop down there. And this was outside of that charity shop, and it was in a right old sorry state. It was with some other bikes that were all modern looking, but this one stood out for me. And I don't know why, it caught my eye. I didn't even want a bike, weren't even interested in buying a bike. I've got a shed full of modern bikes, a couple of mountain bikes, the lot. The last thing I needed was another bike. And the guy, and I looked at it, and it looked quite unusual. And the guy said, because they know me, they said, I'm no stranger to a bit of junk, let's be honest. And the guy turned around and said, tell you what, if you want it, he said, you can have it for a tenner. So £10, who could say no to a bike for £10? And the wheels, the tyres had gone, and it was all covered in dust, and it looked like it'd been in a barn forever. And at the time, I didn't really know much about bikes, certainly not vintage bikes, and certainly not Dutch Omafiets, which apparently is this type of bike. And since then, I've done a lot of research on it. But I bought it, and I struggled it into the back of a then Nissan Micra, and drove home with the tailgate half open, and the rest is history, so they say. I got the wheels done. It was missing a couple of spokes, so I'm very fortunate that I've got a cycle shop that's only down the road from me, and he managed to replace a couple of the little spokey bits. I didn't know you could do that, but he did. And he also put me a set of Land Cruiser tyres on. Let's turn around and see what they are. Land Cruiser tyres. These are 28-inch wheels, which actually makes the bike, this bike is like a racehorse. It just wants to run away from you. It's effortless. The thing will go down a road without pedalling. I've never been on nothing like it before in my life. And the brand I saw was Viking, but it was Viking, and then at the bottom, well, you might not see that, it says Holland on it. And I thought, oh, that's a bit unusual. And I like the decals on it. I thought the decal was quite nice. Of course, not to be confused with the British Viking brand that was around. They did a lot of races, didn't they, in the 1980s, 1970s, 1980s. This is actually the Viking brand. I've done a bit of research. I put ChatGPT onto a deep dive, and the Viking brand was so I'm told by ChatGPT, was a sub-brand of Union in the Netherlands, in Holland. And another good thing about a Dutch bike is this lock. It's outrageous. So you got this little thing here, which is like a key. It was all rusty. Again, I've restored it. Maybe I should be doing some videos of me restoration stuff, but I actually don't claim to be an expert on this stuff. I really don't. I'm just, finding it out as I'm going along. Anyway, long and short of it is, you can lock the bike. This is going to fall out on the floor when I do this, but as I lock the bike, these Dutch bikes have all got a lock. Can you see that? There's a little spool that comes out, and then the key. The key comes out of it. And what that does, that stops someone from riding off with your bike. Obviously, it doesn't stop them from picking it up and having it away on its toes, but it does stop someone from riding off on it and being a pain. And of course, in Amsterdam, I went to Amsterdam once on a little city break with my wife. Less said about that, the better. Anyway, so, and, but when you put the key back in, boom, it's ready to go again. It's a phenomenal idea. What a simple but effective idea just to stop opportunistic people from taking your bike away from you. So that's really, really great. So so I love that, and I've never seen anything like that before, and I thought that was immense, absolutely amazing. Anyway, so this is the bike. Cost me a tenner. The wheels, well, the tyres all in, cost me 60 quid. The spokes were fixed for free because he's a gentleman, and I've done some other things. I put a saddle on it because the original saddle that I've kept, this bike is tall, really tall, and I'm 5'7", and well, I could barely ride it. I'm barely on tiptoes when I'm on it, which is great for comfort because your legs at full extension to the pedal. But when you're actually driving it and riding it around, you're it's a different story completely when you can't put your feet down. But I've learnt to live with it actually. Learnt to live with it, and of course you may notice here minus any brakes. Well, it's not because it's got the back pedal coaster brake business going on there, which actually takes quite a lot of getting used to. But once you get used to it, it's actually all right. It's all right. I don't miss it. Don't miss it at all. So so that's really great. The bike's really tall, so I put on, like I said, I put on a different saddle. Tried to re-chrome using the old tin foil trick as much as possible. That turned out really nice. That turned out really nice. Handlebars are a bit far gone. So you may hate what I'm going to plan for these handlebars, and I'm going to have that coming up on another video. But they're functional, but there's no foil that's going to get that back, is there? So so they're going to actually be changed because you've got to make the bike yours. You've got to move with it. You know, you've got to move with it. Keep the original bits. So and that's what I'm going to be doing on them. Going to have a nice, amazing front light on it as well. Still on the dynamo, which I believe doesn't work, but the dynamo powers the front light, then it goes through the frame and ends up powering the back light as well, which is pretty cool. So yeah, so the bike is pretty tall to ride, but that whole setup, you know, the whole reason why I've got a shed full of mountain bikes is because I've got a family, but I've never really used the mountain bikes, not an awful lot, because they're actually, it's like hard work, isn't it? You're sat forward on the handlebars, and this, you're sat up like a gentleman. In fact, when I went to Amsterdam, I saw people in this country, in England, they'd be driving around in Range Rovers, 4-litre Range Rovers, businessmen, big powerful men. In Amsterdam, they're riding around the streets in one of these. And happy doing it, which is amazing. So the actual riding position of this is really sat up high, isn't it? It's sat up straight. You can breathe properly. You've got your arms at the correct, comfortable distance in front of you. You're not leaning forward. It's a joy. It's a joy to ride. It reminds me of being a child. Now, I'm quite an old man, and not many things remind me of being a child, let me tell you. But this does. The feeling, the wind in your face, and the freedom and the ease of the thing. Literally one pedal, and I kid you not, one pedal will take me the whole way down the road. What the bearings are made of in this thing, I've got no idea, but it's an amazing thing. You know, you put that side by side. My son was out on one of the mountain bikes with me. He's pedaling away, maybe 25, 30 pedals to each one of mine. It's unreal. This thing's like a racehorse. And it reminds me of being young. It reminds me of being a kid, having that freedom and the wind and whistling through my hair and really, really quick. And it's a great thing. It really is. So anyway, so that's the bones of it. I'm going to be talking about using it in public, going out, different journeys on it. I'm going to be showing you those and the upgrades as well that I've already bought for it and that are arriving for it. So hope you like the bike, and yeah, I'm trying to encourage anyone that wants to get into one of these old Omafiets bikes definitely go for it, because you know what? Yeah, it's a bit rusty. Yeah, it maybe doesn't look that cool. It hasn't got that much street cred. But if you like fettling with something and you don't want to do it in the freezing cold, well, look, this is in my hallway for the minute. I have got space for it in a little archway outside, but that's not the point. This is in my hallway. I'm warm, I'm dry. I've managed to where this bit of the frame has been scuffed for years and years and years and years and years. I've managed to neutralise the rust there. I've got a Renaissance wax all over it. I'll talk to you about all that stuff. But yeah, anyway, I hope you like the bike, and I will maybe hear from you in the comments, maybe. And if you've got something similar, or if you've ever heard of a Viking, let us know. Talk to you soon.